whole round earth lie needs to be exposed more than ever because it seems that it's getting out of control. Someone sent me an email with the prediction of the flat earth rave and then media delivering a series of movies trying to prove otherwise. But the fact of the matter is that there is so many facts to prove the flat earth. Necessary, and instead prove the geocentric model correct. Airy's failure explained the micro